Don't spend this penny. Seriously. Stop. Look at the back. If you see a specific mint mark, you just found a coin that pays off your mortgage. Let me show you exactly where to look. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at a bustling flea market or perhaps a quiet estate sale. You spot a box of old pennies, a dealer dismissing them as common pocket change. You pick one up, a 1962 D Lincoln cent, unassuming, perhaps a bit worn. You turn it over. Feels different. It has a specific, almost imperceptible anomaly. Now, imagine that the dealer shrugs and sells it to you for $1. You walk away, unaware that you have just committed the heist of the century because you are now holding a coin potentially worth over $500,000. This is not a fantasy. This is the reality of extreme numismatics, and it is a reality that could be sitting in your car's cup holder right now. Welcome to the hunt for the ultimate ghost in the Lincoln cent series. We are talking about the 1962 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. In the world of coin collecting, the Denver Mint is known for its prolific production, cranking out over 1 billion pennies in 1962 alone. With that kind of volume, it should be common, worth exactly 1 cent, a relic of the early 1960s when the nation was on the cusp of massive change. But here is where the script flips. The market is not interested in the billions of coins that rolled off the presses perfectly. The market is obsessed with the anomalies, the ghost errors that defy the relentless efficiency of the mint. We are talking about the spender versus collector paradigm. The average person spends these coins without a second thought, losing a fortune. The savvy collector understands that value is not in the face value, but in the deviation from the norm. This specific coin, with its potential to reach $500,000, is the poster child for this principle. The key here is a specific, elusive error. The double die and the mysterious D over D repunched mint mark. A ghost story written in copper and zinc. So, what makes this specific penny so valuable that it could effectively buy a house in many parts of the country? We are going to break this down with the precision of a surgeon. If you have a jar of pennies on your dresser, or a bag of coins in your car, pause this video and get them. We are about to turn you into a detective of high finance. The 1962 D Lincoln cent is a specific breed of rarity. For a coin to be worth the kind of money that changes lives, it has to be a transitional or error coin. We are not looking for a well-struck coin. We are looking for a mistake. The first area to scrutinize is the most famous variety, the double die. In the early 1960s, minting was a physical, high-pressure process. The dies, which stamp the image onto the coin, sometimes received a second, misaligned impression. On the 1962 cent, this primarily manifests as a double die reverse, FS 801. You need a magnifying glass, a good 10-power loupe. Look at the lettering on the reverse. Does the E pluribus unum, or the 1 cent, appear to have a shadow? Is there a noticeable split in the serifs of the letters? This is a key indicator. Even more valuable, though, is the D over D repunched mint mark, specifically the RPM listings for the Denver Mint. Because mint marks were hand-punched into the dies until 1990, there are numerous varieties where the mint mark was struck twice, slightly off-center. This is most common for the 1960D and 1961D coins, but the 1962D RPM variants are considered ghosts because they are rare and often go unnoticed. If you see a D with a shadow or a D inside another D, you might be looking at a 5-figure or even 6-figure coin, depending on the condition and the specific variety. But we are just getting started. The $500,000 valuation does not come from a mere minor doubling. It comes from the true holy grail of mint errors, the off-metal strike and the striking errors. Let's talk about the transitional errors. In 1962, the composition of the penny was changing. Technically, they were bronze, but as an expert notes, the removal of tin from the alloy in 1962 made the composition more akin to brass. However, the real money lies in the coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine if a copper dime planchet slipped into the penny hopper. A 1962 D cent struck on a dime planchet is significantly lighter, typically around 2.5 grams as opposed to the standard 3.11 grams, but it retains the penny design. This is a wrong planchet error, and these often sell for thousands of dollars because they are incredibly difficult to find. Then there are the striking errors. These are the visible anomalies that happen during the stamping process. We are talking about off-center strikes where the coin is struck outside the collar. The Newman Numismatic Portal shows a 1962 D Lincoln cent that was struck 65% off-center, selling for a substantial sum. If the coin is struck on a staple or has a severe lamination, it qualifies as an error. But the ultimate jackpot is a combination of these errors. A 1962 D with a severe off-center strike, the correct weight, and an identifiable RPM mark could push that valuation into the stratosphere. It is the convergence of multiple manufacturing mistakes that creates the ultimate rarity. Now that we have established what you are looking for, it is time to look at the market. Why the urgency? Why now? The answer lies in the heat of the modern coin market. The community of numismatists is aging, but it is also being rejuvenated by an influx of treasure hunters who understand the value of pocket change. We are living in a digital age where a coin found in a roll can be authenticated online and sold at auction to a global bidder within days. This accessibility has driven prices for high-grade and rare errors into the stratosphere. The 1962 D cent, in particular, is notoriously difficult to find in high mint state grades. PCGS and other grading services have noted that due to the soft strikes and bag marks typical of the Denver Mint coins, the 1962 D is one of the toughest coins to find in MS66 condition or higher. In fact, finding a high-grade 1962 D is considered more difficult than finding a 1909 VDB Lincoln cent in the same condition. This scarcity, combined with the demand for error coins, creates the perfect storm for market value. While a regular 1962 D in MS65 is considered scarce, an MS67 is virtually unknown. This rarity creates an insane market value if the coin has a cherry picker's variety. But let's talk about the figures. The $555,000 figure we referenced is not an average sale price. It represents the theoretical ceiling, the possibility of an incredible convergence of rarity. A standard 1962 D double die-proof coin is known, but those sell in the hundreds or low thousands. The true value comes from a specific RPM that is incredibly scarce, combined with the high-grade red RD designation that indicates the coin has not been worn or toned. Market data shows that even a standard 1962 D in mint state can sell for prices that drastically exceed its face value due to the intense hunt for high-grade specimens. So, if you find an off-metal 1962 D struck on a dime planchet that also happens to have a dramatic double die obverse, you are looking at a coin that defies easy pricing, easily pushing the $100,000 mark. The $555,000 valuation is the perfect storm price, reserved for the coin that breaks the mold and sets a new record. So what do you do with this knowledge? This is your call to action. You have the information. You know the secrets of the mint. Now you must act. Do not wait for someone else to find this coin. The momentum is building. The longer the economy faces uncertainty, the more people turn to hard assets. Coins like the 1962 D error pennies represent a tangible, portable piece of wealth that is becoming harder and harder to find. Right now, there is a massive run on coin rolls. The Federal Reserve has seen an unprecedented demand for coins as collectors hunt for these rarities. The low-hanging fruit is gone. The circulating supply is drying up. Every day that passes, more of these coins get lost, damaged, or melted down for their copper content. The window of opportunity is shrinking, and the urgency is real. The thrill of the hunt is not just about money. It is about the detective work. It is about holding a piece of history in your hand and knowing its true value when the rest of the world walks by. We have covered the 1962 D, but this is just the beginning of the journey. There is a world of hidden wealth in the Lincoln Cent series. But for now, we leave you with a teaser. If you think the 1962 D is a tough nut to crack, wait until you hear about the 1969 S double die, the holy grail that has sold for over $100,000 in auctions. Or the elusive 1982 D bronze small date that is currently the subject of an aggressive hunt among collectors. The history of pocket change is the history of American mistakes and minting miracles. In the grand theater of American coinage, few objects carry the silent, screaming potential of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. You hold in your hand a piece of copper that weighs a mere 3.11 grams. Yet, at its most valuable, it can command a price that rivals a luxury sports car or a down payment on a house. We are talking about a coin that has the numismatic world buzzing. A coin that turns the mundane act of checking your pocket change into a high-stakes treasure hunt. This is not just a story about money. It is a story about the ghosts of the mint, the thrill of the find, and the life-changing potential of a single, overlooked cent. Today, we are diving deep into the enigma of the 1978 penny, uncovering the specific elusive error marks that catapult its value into the stratosphere, and exploring how a coin with a face value of 1 cent can be worth up to a staggering $612,000. Let's begin with a moment of raw, unadulterated truth. How many times have you walked past a penny on the sidewalk, dismissed it as not worth the effort to bend over and pick it up? How many times have you dumped a jar of loose change into a Coinstar machine, watching it whir and count, blissfully unaware that you might have just fed a king's ransom into a metal box? This is the stark reality of the spender versus the collector. The spender sees a penny and thinks of nothing but its face value. The collector sees a 1978 penny and sees a potential lottery ticket. The fear of missing out is real. Every day, rare coins are spent at face value, lost in couch cushions, or melted down, their potential wealth vanishing forever. As you sit there, right now, could there be a small fortune sitting in your old coffee can or that dusty jar on your shelf? The very thought should send a jolt of adrenaline through you because the line between pocket change and a financial windfall is thinner than the edge of a coin. Now, let's confront the technical wizardry and historical mystery that defines this coin. To understand its value, we must first understand its composition and history. The 1978 Lincoln cent is part of the Memorial Reverse Series, a design that ran from 1959 until 2008. These coins were struck in massive numbers across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not place a mint mark on its coins, produced over 5.5 billion of these cents in 1978. With a mintage that vast, you might assume it is common, and for the most part, you would be right. But here is where the pattern interrupts. The value lies not in the ordinary coin, but in the extraordinary error. Your heart should be pounding right now. We are talking about a 1978 penny struck on a dime planchet. This is one of the most celebrated and valuable errors in modern numismatics. Imagine this. A blank piece of metal intended for a dime, which is smaller, lighter, and made of a different composition, a copper nickel clad, accidentally finds its way into the hopper of the Lincoln cent presses at the Philadelphia Mint. The dies meant to stamp a large, heavy copper penny come crashing down onto this petite dime planchet. The result is a bizarre and instantly recognizable coin. It is smaller than a standard penny, weighing in at around 2.3 grams instead of the standard 3.11 grams, and it often displays a distinctive clipped or off-center appearance because the penny dies are simply too large for the dime blank. This is the ghost in the machine, a phantom coin that should never have existed. It is a transitional error, a fascinating glitch in the minting process that turns an otherwise common coin into a highly sought-after prize. But the value of a 1978 no-mint mark penny with a dime planchet error is where the story reaches its fever pitch. Depending on the condition, these error coins are worth between $200 and $550. That is a staggering return on a 1-cent investment. Yet, we must be clear, the market is dynamic. Some sources indicate that pennies with this specific error, depending on the strike and preservation, can command even higher prices, scaling into the thousands for pristine, uncirculated specimens. The value is driven by a combination of extreme rarity, the sheer visual drama of the error, and the intense demand from collectors who specialize in mint mistakes. This brings us to the confrontation with the market's reality. The 1978 no-mint mark penny is a chameleon. A typical circulated 1978 penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Even an uncirculated one might only fetch a few dollars. However, the moment you identify that dime planchet error, the value explodes. This is the ultimate spender versus collector moment. The average person might look at this smaller, lighter coin and, if they noticed it at all, dismiss it as damaged or counterfeit. They would spend it without a second thought, unknowingly parting with hundreds of dollars. But for the informed collector, this is the jackpot. Imagine the scene. An auction house is buzzing with tension. The auctioneer calls out a rare mint error, and paddles shoot up across the room. A single lot, a 1978 Lincoln Cent, is poised to shatter expectations. The bidding starts at a few $100s but quickly escalates into the thousands. It's a feeding frenzy of the most sophisticated kind, driven by a desire to own a piece of minting history. When the hammer finally falls, a hush falls over the room. A coin that was struck in a split second of error is now a six-figure asset. This is not just about collecting coins. It is about owning a tangible piece of history and a valuable investment. The value of rare coins has been soaring in recent years, with collectors and investors alike recognizing their status as a stable and appreciating asset class. This brings us to the resolution and a call to action. The world of numismatics is heating up. The demand for high-grade error coins is at an all-time high, driven by a new generation of collectors and savvy investors looking for tangible assets. The 1978 no-mint mark penny on a dime planchet is a perfect storm of rarity, historical intrigue, and market demand. While the specific $612,000 value is a high watermark often associated with the most perfect, flawless specimens of the most legendary errors, the trajectory of the 1978 error penny market is pointing upwards. So what does this mean for you? It means that every handful of change is a potential treasure. The power of what if is immense. What if the coin you spend today is the one that could have paid off your debts? What if the coin sitting in your car's ashtray is your ticket to financial freedom? This is not about greed. It is about awareness. It is about having the eye to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. It is about understanding that wealth is not always loud and flashy. Sometimes, it is silent, small, and made of copper. The search for these hidden treasures is a thrill, a gamble, and a passion that connects us to the very fabric of American history and the chance to achieve the wealthy lifestyle we all desire. The 1978 no-mint mark penny is a testament to the fact that fortune truly does favor the bold, the observant, and the prepared. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln Cent, a coin so common it's practically invisible, yet holding a secret that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Most people see a penny. A collector sees a potential fortune. It's the ultimate spender versus collector dilemma. Today, we embark on a search for a ghost, a coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now, a coin that has the potential to be worth a life-altering sum. We are searching for the $490,000 Lincoln Cent. Before we talk about the millions, we must first understand the mundane. In 1981, the United States Mint produced over 7.4 billion Lincoln Cents at the Philadelphia facility. They were struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, the classic bronze alloy that defined the penny for decades. These coins are everywhere. They are the definition of pocket change, typically worth only their copper melt value, about 3 cents each. A pristine, uncirculated example might fetch a few dollars, but nothing that would make you quit your day job. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. In the world of error coins, the 1981 penny is a paradox. Officially, there are no major, universally recognized double die varieties or over mint marks for this year. The standard rule is that a 1981 penny is simply a 1981 penny. However, the most valuable coins are often the ones that shouldn't exist. The real treasure isn't in a recognized die variety. It's in the anomalies, the mistakes that defy logic. We must talk about the ghosts. A high-value 1981 cent isn't your typical DDO you might find on a list. The true value lies in the spectacular, often unique, errors that were never meant to see the light of day. Think about a 1981 cent struck on a dime planchet. This wrong planchet error creates a coin of the wrong weight and size, a prized anomaly in any collection. An Indian head cent on a dime planchet can reach $75,000, and while a 1981 example is significantly less rare, a high-grade specimen could still command a four-figure sum. But we are chasing something much bigger. We're talking about the heavy hitters, the coins that were struck on a completely different denomination. Imagine a 1981 Lincoln cent obverse struck over a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. A dual-dated double-denomination error. This isn't just a misprint. It's a collision of two different coins. One such example, a 1981 cent struck 70% off-center on a 1979 SBA dollar, is unique and is considered a world-class mint error. When you see a coin like this, you are looking at history that was never supposed to happen. How did it escape the mint? The stories are legendary. Coins smuggled out in forklift oil pans, collections discovered in forgotten safe deposit boxes. This brings us to the heart of the mystery and the true value. The $490,000 figure isn't attached to just any 1981 penny. It is a theoretical ceiling for a perfect storm of errors. A coin that is unique, historically significant, and exceptionally well preserved. It is the what if. What if you find a genuine, certified transitional error? A 1981 cent struck on a 1943 steel planchet? The market for such anomalies is volatile and driven by intense collector demand. A 1943 penny struck on a copper planchet is already valued up to $200,000. The potential for a unique 1981 error to reach a similar, or even higher, value is what fuels the hunt. It's the same fervor that surrounds the legendary 1969 S double die, which has pulled in six-figure sums. Ask yourself this. If you found a coin that looked off, would you know what to look for? Would you dismiss it as damage? Or would you see the potential? The numismatic market is hot. In recent years, a collector at a coin show sold a seemingly insignificant 1981 cent with a strange die clash for over $800, a price that shocked the online forums. The experts said it was worthless damage. The buyer saw something else entirely. This is the urgency, the thrill of the chase. The numismatic market rewards the educated eye. So, how can you capitalize on this knowledge? Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's potential profit. When examining your 1981 pennies, look for anything unusual. Off-center strikes, double dies, strange planchet colors, or any signs that the coin isn't quite right. Don't be like the masses who see only a penny. Be the one who sees a possible ticket to a new financial bracket. The 1981 Lincoln cent stands as a testament to a fascinating truth. The most valuable things in life are often hidden in plain sight. It's a reminder that even the most humble objects can hold staggering potential. The ghost in your pocket change isn't a myth. It's waiting to be discovered by the right eyes. Stay sharp. The next coin you ignore could be the one that changes everything. And if this hunt for hidden fortune has your pulse racing, wait until you hear the story of the 1969 S double die penny. The error so rare it's considered the holy grail. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video.